Some conversations will be mind-blowing and you'll sit there and you'll have the most profound change.
Okay, so we'll not use the mic today then.
No, I think you should.
There you go, that's cool. How are you?
I'm good, how are you doing?
I'm well, I am well, she says. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this little bit and then I'm just going to go, hey Guava, welcome to 52 Conversations, and then we'll start properly. But I just thought, okay. So I left you a voice note, I don't know if you heard it.
Yeah, I heard it, and you gave me a few topics that you're gonna talk about. It's so hot today.
I know, it's ridiculous, and I'm sat here and the fan's off and I'm like, oh my god, I'm just going to turn into a sweat box. But hey, so let's do the hey, it's 52 Conversations. Welcome Guava, thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. So you've already got art in the background going on, because when I spoke to you, I thought it would be super cool for people not only to hear you, but maybe
yes.
to
see me doing something at the same time, right?
Absolutely, to see what you are about, so to speak. So yes. We were just having a little catch up there before we went live, and we were sort of saying it's been a long time, right? I was trying to think when I actually last saw you. It's been a long time. I've probably seen you.
It's practically been a year, I think.
I suspect it's probably been a year, and what a year
it's March, right? And Aiden's party was supposed to happen last year. Was supposed to happen around what month? Was March?
May.
Or
May. We should have.
May.
We should.
So yeah, it's roughly a year.
It's just insane. So dare I ask you how the year has treated you?
Man, it's treating me just like I was treating everybody. you know, uncertainty.
Like this.
Yeah.
Just
exactly. Yeah, like sometimes you get hit, sometimes you dodge some bullets.
Absolutely. It's been an interesting year, and I don't know how you feel about this. I try not to labor it too much, but my year has been pretty intense. So I left Antigua March the 15th, my pops died March the 25th, and we went straight into the big UK lockdown.
Yeah.
So home, so it was just super intense going into the start of the very first lockdown, getting your head around, okay, we're going to have a funeral and there will only be 12 people, and then all these different restrictions and grief and all those kind of things. And in some ways, I feel like I maybe missed out on some of the other stuff that was going on because of COVID, if that makes sense, in a weird way, because it just wasn't on my radar because we were so insular in what we were going through.
Yeah.
Equally, a year and 1 month on, I feel like I've finally come out the other side of 12 months of obviously
insanity.
Insanity, healing, grief, craziness. And I've learned some great things about myself. So, I mean, that might be a place to start today. Do you feel like you've learned stuff about yourself in the last year?
Yeah, definitely. I've learned a whole bunch of things whilst being during this whole pandemic. I learned that I'm more patient than I usually than I knew.
Okay, well that's a cool thing. So obviously, I'm assuming that you've just been at home with wife and babies and going to the studio as well.
Yeah, just back and forth. The only thing that's been troubling for us is like after the schools open, it was good, but then now they imposed this lockout for kids under a certain age. So both our kids are home now. We have to do the homeschooling thing with the school and the computers and stuff. And that is it's a new thing. So it's very trying for us,
Trying on different levels, because of course all
because I have things I have to do, especially here. And my wife, she also helps me. So it totally like conflicts with what we do. And you know, I know the teachers also are feeling it because they would rather have the children in the classroom where they can you know, monitor them and help them hands-on instead of doing it remotely.
Yeah.
And yeah, it slows down our production too, because my wife, she plays a very important role in the business, you know, and yeah, it really slows down stuff. So I'm a bit irritated. Because of this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's very much a partnership in the true sense of the way that you work with your wife, right? I know that from getting to know you over the years, and you're very co-joined in all the right ways and in all the good places. So it must be really trying for you.
Oh yeah, it is, man. It is.
You know, around the world though, we've had parents having to try to juggle their, I hate the word try, but trying to juggle their personal lives, their professional lives, some me time. I mean, how has that happened? Is your me time turned into when you're painting and you're doing your thing?
That's the only time, and during that time, I still have to rush everything, and I can't get to use that me time wisely, so, you know, because I still have to run errands. I still have to make sure everything's in balance, so to speak, and that conflicts with my my work because there's so much stuff I want to do and so many things I want to put out, and I can't do it because once I'm done from here and I get home, I have to deal with the kids because you know they want attention, and I have to give them attention because if I don't give them attention, and then they grow up and they'll be like, oh, Dad never used to play with us when he came home from work. He just went straight to bed, you know. And I want to avoid those kind of experiences. You know what I mean? I don't want those experiences at all because you know. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's one thing you spoke about. You said the word errands there, and for people that aren't in Antigua or the Caribbean or this part of the world, then they need to understand that an errand here that could take 5 minutes turns into maybe what, an hour, 2 hours?
2 hours, 3 hours tops. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and the country's so small. You know.
Absolutely.
You would think like you'd be in and out. You know what I mean? In and out. No.
In and out. No.
You go in and you're coming out in about 3 hours. Just make up your mind for that.
Absolutely. Yes. Yesterday I thought, right, okay, I'm being really focused yesterday, and I had a client call and I had errands, and then I had a client call in the middle of the day and a business call, and I was lucky enough to be able to use a friend's house in Crosby's because she's away, and I thought I can do this. I got back home at like 6:30 and I was like, I just need to go to sleep because I'm exhausted. Yet on the flip side of that, are we blessed to have been in Antigua for some of this pandemic and this COVID in terms of where we actually live geographically and what is available to us?
I think so. We're blessed and we're cursed at the same time because I don't see the need for some of the procedures they put in place. Some of the procedures are absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, other countries aren't following those protocols and they're doing quite fine, you know. But in terms of like being blessed now, I think it's good that we have the weather we have, being able to go in the sunshine and going to the beach anytime, well, the time that we're allowed to go, you know.
Yeah, when we've got
I prefer that, you know, but at the same time there's inconveniences where you need to get some shopping done, and you know, that's the only thing that inconveniences me and makes me want to think sometimes, oh, maybe you know, we're not so blessed. But yeah, apart from that, weather and just weather, basically. I think we'll just stick with the weather. We got good weather, so that's the best like blessing we can ask for right now. So
I mean, at the end of the day, you can step outside your front door, you can look down that little hill, and within a couple of minutes, you can be in the beautiful ocean. So
yeah, exactly.
We are grateful for that.
I am most grateful for that. Yes, I can't. I say that every time I walk on the beach and my toes hit the sand, I'm like, man, there's nowhere else I'd rather be, or else if I can live on another island that has the same type of settings. Sure, you know. So
So,
I appreciate it.
so going to the sea, because I know I'm used to that. Back before COVID, I would often see you guys on Turner's Beach doing your regular thing. Is that kind of a regrounding? Has that become even more important?
It is, but we don't get to go as much because, like I said, after I get home from work, if I don't get home in time, we can't get to the beach in time to like go for a walk or just explore. But apart from that, man, I don't know. Sometimes I zone out and because I'm thinking about like as I'm talking to you about what I'm talking about, I'm picturing it in my head, and I'm like, God, I really need to get to the beach.
Absolutely. Well, this is my wish for you now. This is my dictation that you must go to the beach today. Like whatever it is that you do, get to the beach today.
I will most definitely do that today for sure.
I was there at 7 o'clock this morning because I thought if I don't go at 7 o'clock this morning, I'm not going to get it in, and it's kind of,
wow.
it kind of filled me up.
That's actually a good advice. I think I'm gonna do that from now on. Like go early in the morning, and then that way at least I get that experience in, and then I can start my day.
Absolutely. So for people that are listening that don't know anything about you because they're not local to Antigua or the US where maybe they've bought your art, give me what I call the quick hair version of who you are and how you came to be doing what it is that you do, which is following your passion and purpose for art, I guess.
Well, I am Ron Howell, most people know me as, and my art name is GuavaDeArt, or GuavaDeArtist. And how I came to be with this whole little art studio / business / movement is just from loving art since I was a kid. I'm a born artist, I would like to say, and if one were to throw me in any genre, I would say I'm more of a conceptual urban artist, So I like to play with a lot of different concepts. Before when I was younger, I know like art is what I wanted to like end up doing it as a career or means to an end. And being someone who's more interested in illustrations and cartoon characteristics type of art, I got an affinity for it from my TV shows I used to watch when I was a child, and it just came naturally. I could just draw, and my mom was the first person I saw draw anything like live in front of me. She drew me an elephant, and it's like from since then, I just had that itch, and I've just been drawing since ever. And as I get older, I taught myself different techniques. I dove more into character design. I researched more about like street art, and some of the street artists were doing it because like when you're an illustrator / a cartoon or character designer type of artist, you tend to gravitate to more of that type of style, the street style and such, because I like graffiti and street art. It comes from character design and cartoon design. As much as people want to try and like put up a front and say, oh, street art came from this and da. Nah, it really came from cartooning, you know what I mean? And cartoons and comics and stuff. That's where it really came from. So in a sense, I'm a street artist, but people would never like classify me as a street artist, I guess. But like I said, I consider myself a conceptual artist. And I'm self-taught, and I'm from Antigua and Barbuda, and I've been pushing my artwork around the world as much as I can by myself. So I have no agency, I have no promoters, I have no managers. It's just been me pushing my art and my wife as my business partner helping out our art lifestyle brand. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, your brand is growing in different ways. I mean, we've had conversations before when you popped in before when I had my radio show and stuff. And I know that you had some strong ideas in school where kind of art wasn't necessarily encouraged, yet it was absolutely where your passion was. So kind of what's your views on that and how people can still be tenacious enough to do the thing that they really want to do, despite, because I know it's still the same in a lot of education, they're kind of trying to take us away from the creativity because they actually want us to be what I call the sausage or the cookie cup model, where we all come, you know, we should all learn this stuff and we should all be able to do it at this stage, and then they just push us out the other side. And clearly that's not what you're about.
No. I would just say, if you're passionate about what you're talented at, you stay at it and you keep at it and you keep trying to make yourself as different, you know, in terms of your style or whatever you're doing. Just try and make it as different as possible from anybody else's. Because when you copy other people's style and you try to pass it off as your own, you're just seen as another of this or another of that. You know what I mean? So just get a unique style, focus on it, work on it, you know, develop it. And once it's developed, you keep pushing your art. You know, like once you're passionate about it, you're not gonna stop doing it, because you know that's the one thing you love to do, no matter what, you know.
Absolutely. So it's the thing that fills your days. So how do you find what is your style? Because as soon as you were saying that, I was like, man, how do you find that? Does it come to you the more that you do as you practice different things?
The more you practice, the more you will stumble upon your style, in a sense. You, for instance, like if you're somebody who, okay, let's just start from an illustrative standpoint or illustration standpoint, where like in the comic book industry, you would have people who different sections of work. Like you have like a person who does like the rough sketches, somebody who does the inking, and then you have somebody with the shading, I guess. So let's just say you've covered like two of those disciplines, where you're really good at rough sketching and then you're really good at cleaning up, which is you're gonna ink. Meaning you're gonna either put tracing paper over it, or you're gonna go over it with raw ink and then use an eraser and erase all the rough sketch that you did with pencil. You know, there's two ways of doing this. And let's say like you've already like gotten to the second stage where you're in the inking stage, where you're tracing the line and making it all nice and clean and whatnot. And let's say that you accidentally went out of line and you made like a double line from that first line, and then you're like, oh, that looks kind of interesting, you know. And then you decide to experiment with that same image, you know, but doing double lines all throughout the full picture.
Okay.
That could be a style created right there, you know. And that's how you stumble or you develop styles, you know.
So it's almost like being super childlike and curious and just seeing.
In a sense, yeah.
You know,
because nothing. I think things happen when you experiment. If you don't experiment on something, you'll never know about it, or you'll never learn about it. You'll just keep wondering what if or what's inside. But
absolutely.
If you look at a mango, like for instance, who's the first person to ever look at a mango and you eat a mango? You know what I mean? Like, so you gotta think about that. Like they probably walked over to the tree, they saw these bright red and yellow looking things, but at the same time it looks kind of scary because they're falling so fast and hard because the tree's so tall. So it look dangerous. So you know, let's just say like somebody's, they say, hey, stay away from that tree because those colorful things, those colorful rocks are falling very fast and hard and they'll hit you in the head. You know, and let's just say one person decides, you know what, I'm not gonna not go by that tree. I'm gonna go by that tree and see what happens. You know what I mean? And let's just say one of those mangoes fell and hit him in the head at the same time, but he realizes he's not injured or she's not injured, but then some juice runs down on her forehead. You know what I mean? And then it touched her tongue because she thought it was blood. First she thought she was bleeding, or he thought it was bleeding, but it wasn't blood. It was mango juice. And he said, holy crap, this is what this stuff tastes like, you know? Then they'll sit down and then they'll start eating, and the people from the other side will be watching from a distance like, oh my goodness, what is he doing? And they'll come over, what are you eating? Don't you know that's dangerous? And then maybe he might be a selfish person. And he'll be probably like, so what are you eating? And he'll be like, mango, you know? And then that's how the name mango came.
I love it. I love that story. And now I'm sat here thinking, damn, I'm going to miss mango season because I'm leaving again soon. But hey, that's another story. It's the way that your brain works, though, and I know this from conversations we've had before, it kind of goes here and it goes here and it goes here.
Yeah.
And then it just leads to this great expanse of learning and opening, you know, different doors to see what's behind the doors, really, I guess, isn't it? So if you get commissioned to do specific pieces, how does that work? You know, do people actually say, this is what I think I want, and then you interpret that? Or how does that co-collaboration work?
It works, I would say two major ways. One way is if that person is just like a real big fan of my art, and they'll just tell me, I don't even care what you paint, just paint whatever, make it this size, and I'll love it, you know?
Yeah.
That's one way, and that's the way I would always prefer, because I get to just express what I want. Yeah. And then the other way is if someone has an idea and they will just give me the ideas in words, and then I will try to make a picture or create a picture based on their narration, in a sense.
Cool. So for people, again, that don't know you, I mean, I watch your page and you're doing T-shirts, you're doing designs on trainers, you're doing all sorts of things. So where does that come? Is that literally just like, oh man, I just want to get hold of a trainer and pimp it up somehow? Where did that come from? Was it literally just like, oh, let's do something? Or was it a purposeful sort of thought pattern?
Well, it happened because my art brand, I consider it a lifestyle brand, right? I never wanted to box myself in to just be like an art brand, and then you'll do like a few T-shirts here and there, but then you're strictly gonna just paint and do T-shirts every now and then and just let that be. Nah, I wanted to incorporate everything, like from clothes to shoes to anything, furniture. And these are all the things I'm working on currently behind, like, that's not like, I don't post all the stuff I work on, I post some of the stuff, but all the stuff. So I have furniture designs, I got designs for toys, I've already like made some 3D samples where I printed some prototypes,
Wow.
Like anything you think about, if somebody has a car and they want their car to be like covered in some crazy artwork, I will do it, you know what I mean? Like, I want for it to be a lifestyle brand. I want for you to be able to like go into your house and you can open it and you can pimp out your whole house with just guava gear, from the mats to the toys, you know what I mean? Yeah, posters, pictures, paintings, bed sheets. This is what I eventually want to become. I want my brand to be. I want it to be a lifestyle household brand. For now, it's more of a high end. I won't say high end. It's more of a art based brand. So the price is, when you get what you pay for. You come for this, it's gonna cost this, and then I'm gonna give you my time. This is what's gonna cost. But I eventually would love for my brand to become like solidified. You know what I mean? And a household brand. Like, you go into a store, you see like Guava t-shirts. You know what I mean? And people are distributing them. You know what I mean? You go to another place and there's like companies who want to buy a license for my characters and stuff and using my, this is what I'm talking about. And it has my little signature on it with my characters, and then I get some royalties from it, because this is the way brands grow and they stay with us for generations, I mean, look at the Sanrio company.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watch a short documentary on that guy on Netflix, and if you ever watch this documentary called "The Toys That Made Us,"
yeah, and
if you get a chance, check that out. They talk about these all the iconic toys throughout the 80s and 90s that that's been a staple in our life. And the Sanrio company is one that I took a really high interest in because they made sure that they did a partnership with almost every known company, in the world. Like Hello Kitty has partnered with almost every single brand you can think about. Everything. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean? And this man is still alive today, so I want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I want to be able to see my little teeth character on an Adidas t-shirt, and it says Adidas X, Guava. You know what I mean? Like, I think I got the goods.
Absolutely, and it's about being passionate about your vision and going all in as well, and not being what I'm going to call half-assed, because I guess there's a lot of people are half-assed, right?
Yeah, and the thing is, right, why people are half-assed or half-assed, as you say in your nice British accent? It's because nobody wants to take a gamble on themselves. You understand? And that's something I learned in life growing up. I learned that you're gonna have to take a gamble on yourself. Like, I'm not saying you should go there and go to casinos and go gamble. I think you're gambling on yourself by trying to win like the jackpot.
Absolutely.
That could happen, but that's a one in a million something crazy number, But I'm just saying, yourself, if you think you have the goods to go there and create something that you can be happy with doing for the rest of your life, and also leaving a mark on the world, a positive mark especially, then you should gamble on yourself and go full 100. And if you fail, you fail. And if you win, you win. But you'll never know if you'll fail or you'll win if you don't try. So this is me. I said to myself, I'm gonna go for 100. I'm gonna be an artist. I'm gonna make money from my art. I'll suffer sometimes, I know, and I'll profit sometimes, I know. But this is what I want to do, and at least I can get up and be happy and be satisfied with myself every day. Even if I'm not satisfied with myself, I only have one person to blame, and that's me. I'm not gonna blame no boss. I'm not gonna blame no employee. I'm gonna blame me if things doesn't get done. You understand? So that's what I can tell people.
That's such a great mindset for people that are listening. It's about literally having the trust to believe in yourself, and also to a degree being vulnerable enough to say, okay, well, I'm going to go for this. And, like you say, I guess I'd say probably there isn't ever a fail. There's just okay, so it didn't quite work out. Yeah, it didn't quite work out the way that I wanted to. What experience has it given me? What have I learned from that? Because I'm sure there's been times that you've done things that you thought, oh, well, that didn't go the way I planned. However, what can I turn that into next?
Oh, yeah. Many times. And like I said, every experience is a life lesson or a learning experience. And you just learn from it. And you just try not to do it again. And if you do it again, try to at least do it better. So,
yeah. So it's kind of the teaching, experiential learning for your own lifestyle, for your own lifestyle. So when you are at home with the kids, I see the kids now, they're getting involved in art already, right?
Oh yeah.
Is that literally from when they popped out? Because between
basically,
Asuka,
yeah, I think so. Partially, it's just from birth, and I think the other part is like they see their father and their mother like doing fun stuff. What appears to be fun, Like my wife she'd be at home sometimes and she'd be working on like her stitch work, and my daughter would always want to like do stuff because she see her doing. She said, "Dad," she said, "Mom, I want to do some stitching now. Please, and she'll like give her a little embroidery brace, and she'll get to stitching, and she's pretty decent, So it's good that she's like learning this from a young age. And then the drawing part too and the sketching part too, like she took a duck. She was like a duck that took the water. Like I'm not even joking. Like I think she's better than me at the age she is than when I was at that age. Like I'm not even joking. She started drawing around like 2 years old, and she would just draw amazing little characters. And as she got older, she just got better. Like, and I'm not talking about like a year. I'm talking about like within like months, she'll just get better. I know she's
do at that age, right? They express through things if they love them. Their brain and their bodies are going, right, okay, I'm writing all of this neural pathway.
Yeah, and it's incredible because especially my son, right? Like he can draw too, but I think his style is more of an abstract style. Like he draws things very fast. He just doesn't have any patience. He can't wait for anybody. He's a very impatient child. So he draws very, very fast and very wild. And I kind of like it because he has very great color selection. like Addis, she's better at illustration and creating stories and stuff. Like if you see the amount of stuff that we kept from the time she's been 2 years old, drawing from then to now she's 7. We have so much like stacked upon stacked, and we have like stacked up in one big box from when she started from that age. And it's just so crazy to see her evolve, you know. She's doing sculptures too, yeah. She does little sculptures, and she did these little like sculptures that look like Sanrio characters. And it was really amazing. I'm like, wow, it's 7 years old and doing these sculptures out of clay. Insane.
I was just about to say, so she's got clay for that you bought her, or
no, the school that we sent them to, the school provides the clay because the school has an art program, which is why we sent them there. I really like that the fact that they make them get into it, you know. So they're learning how to do sculptures at a young age. They're learning like shading and color matching and stuff, and you know, it's really good for her to help develop her style, because if it's one thing, like she really doesn't like take too much from other like teachings with art. She'll take a little bit because she wants to do it her way. So in a sense, she's kind of like me, which is what I like. So I try not to break that will from her. If she's doing something and she does it totally opposite from what I'm showing her, because sometimes I show her things and she does it totally opposite, I just say, okay, fine, it's your way, you know.
I love that. I was just about to say that to you. So basically, they're getting the nurturing from the school teaching side of things and what they think they should be teaching in art. Then they've got you and mum at home with your ideas. Yet she's still going to listen and absorb, and she's still going to do it her way. So she's definitely your daughter, right?
Yep.
I love that. So one of the things that I kind of want to touch on as well, if it's all right, is this mixing of cultures, because obviously your wife is Japanese.
Yeah.
And you are Antiguan. So what is the culture mix there, and how does that create something different, do you think?
Well, as you know, like you said, she's from Japan, I'm from Antigua, and the culture mixing is good because the kids they learn their Japanese culture because they're born in Japan, both of them, and they're growing up here, so they grew up learning like you know, island life and experiences on the western side of the world. And then when they go to Japan, they do all the traditional Japanese things that they usually do, like, you know, go to temple and stuff during New Year's and during the spring, and they you know, do like traditional Japanese like dinners and stuff, because in Japan, you know, my in-laws, they have a traditional Japanese home with like a Japanese like room where they have ceremonies and stuff for Shinto and special occasions, etc. So they learn all these things when they go back to Japan, you know. So they get a mixture of both worlds, you know, and with that, they can then like create whatever world they want to create when they get older, because you know, since we're on this side of the world, they tend to absorb a lot of Americana. You know what I mean? So like my son, for instance, he had to renew his passport. So instead of like going on to Trinidad, because Trinidad was locked down, she had to go to Miami because there was a Japanese consulate in Miami, you know. And he just, when he went there at that age, because he'd been before, but not that he can remember. So now he's like 4 or 5 years old. He's running around in all these department stores and going crazy, especially when he goes to the toy section.
Because we haven't really got that here, have we?
No. But I mean, he sees this stuff when he goes to Japan, so I understand what's the big deal, you know what I mean? Like, if not more. So I don't know, I guess because America's just in your face, so
can't get away from it.
The marketing and stuff is just in your face, so that probably like had a deeper impression on him. So you know, when he got back to Antigua, you know, he just kept on saying, "So when we're going back to Miami, you know." I want to go back to Miami. I want to go to Target. Chill with that, man.
And you're like, no, you need to go to Japan. You need some culture.
I know, like, dude, like, America's good. But, you know, Japan got just as much cool stuff, if not more, dude. So, you know, he's like, I know, but, because he's not like, they're not like normal kids. They're like, we don't, I don't know, if, maybe it's not just my kids either. Maybe it's just the generations, you know? This generation of children, they're different. You know, like you can talk to them like like, you know, like you would be talking to like a person, a friend of yours, you know, you can talk to them and have casual, meaningful conversations, you know, because I do that with my children, you know, especially my son. Like he would like, if I'm outside and you know, I'm just done, you know, hitting the spliff or whatever, and he comes out after, and I'm there, he'll come out and he'll sit right next to me, and we'll just engage in conversation, you know, and then he was like talking to me about companies and stuff, and he's saying which car companies he likes and stuff, and he's saying, oh, I like, he really likes Tesla, and I said, why you like Tesla? Because Tesla is electric, and you don't have to buy gas, and you know, gas is bad for the environment, and I'm like, what the hell? And then he starts going into like, but I like Honda too, because you know, all the car that we drive is a Honda, but too bad it's gas, and you know, I wish we had a Tesla. So then he goes on to like asking me about stuff, and I said, well, you know, how these companies are started and stuff, and how they maintain. I said, well, you know, these companies maintain because they have investors and such. You know, and investors, yeah, that's when you go into the stock market. And the stock market, so I started to explain a little bit about it to him, because I figured, you know what, let me just talk to him like this. Because instead of like telling him, that's something you don't understand, just wait till you get older to learn about it. No, I'm making my kid ignorant if I do that. So I just I engage in these conversations. It may seem weird to some other adults because they're like, oh, the kid won't understand what they're talking about. But to me, I think they do. And it's stored in their subconscious, you know what I mean? Everything, no matter how much people may think, people don't get this or people don't get that. Once you hear something or see something once, it's locked in your brain forever. You know what I mean? And it's stored. And you know, you may not be able to pull it up because you don't have the I guess the discipline to do so. But sometimes it comes back randomly, you know, because our brain, as you know, and you know, and others that know, they're supercomputers. There's organic supercomputers. That's what they are. You know, they have electricity running through your brain and your body and stuff. So you know for a fact this thing is a thinking organic machine, you know, and that's why you're supposed to like not drink so much alcohol and stuff, because you drink too much alcohol, you lose brain cells, and then the computer like get viruses and stuff. I mean,
the computer says, uh-oh.
Yeah, but you know.
Well, look, here's the thing. We know that as children, they're like their computer, if you want to refer to it as their computer, is a super sponge. So it's taken in all of these experiences, all the learnings, and all the journeying. And the best way for us to learn is to take in some information and then put it back out, because that's really how we learn. Otherwise, exactly as you say, the information goes in and it gets locked in there somewhere, and it may or may never be used again. And what all you're doing is if your son opens the conversation, you're not looking at him and limiting him by his age. You're opening him up to a conversation because he's willing to have it, which is a fantastic way to be. You know, not like a lot of the education systems where it's kind of like, oh, you're 5 to 6, you should be learning this now, and you're 6 to 7, you should.
I know, right? They dictate to you what you should learn or what you should do. You know, it just sucks that, you know, I'm gonna say this, you know, a lot of people there listening might get a little bit upset, but you know, if we lived in a world where we had some kind of system that benefits everybody, you know, where you get food no matter what, you know what I mean, and the food you get, of course, it's got to be plant-based.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to say.
Yeah. But I mean, if it has to be anything but plant-based, you know what I mean, then let it be the people who create in a laboratory from science, I guess, if you want to put it that way. If you want to eat that and think that's nutritious to you, and you can have the things you are accustomed to eating, then fine, right? But I don't think any animals should go through no kind of separation and stuff, right? Because the animals of the earth are needed for the earth cycle. And a lot of us don't seem to understand that, you know what I mean? I watched Seaspiracy the other day, and man,
it's so hard to watch, isn't it? I was like a child, reminding myself at times, I'm going like this and I'm pressing stop because I'm just like sat there crying.
You're like, holy this is what's going on, man. You know, they have the fact, you know, the thing about that struck me like really that stuck with me up to now. The fact they got millions of industrial sized fishing boats just constantly drag this fishing the sea by way of dragging, by net dragging.
Literally
and
raping
those
the
nets that it does discard, because when they don't use it, they just cut them and then just float. Oh man.
It's disgusting, isn't it? It's really disgusting. I mean, and I figured we would get onto this conversation about food and vegans, vegetarianism, plant-based, whatever it is. And I think one of the things that has come out of COVID as well is a whole bunch of people have paid much more attention to what they're putting into their bodies.
I've noticed that. I've noticed a good amount of people are trying to either go more plant-based, or they're trying to like be more you know, up on their immunizations in terms of like what they intake, you know.
Yeah.
And that's good, you know. But let me backtrack a bit to what I was going to say in this world. I was going to say, if this world had a system where we're gonna benefit from like I said, like you get food on demand in terms of like us putting in the infrastructure for said situations, you know what I mean? Like you'll have food processing containers, if you may, with just people in there monitoring them. This could provide a lot of jobs too for people. And it won't be a labor filled job, because we live in a world now where we already have a lot of robots doing a lot of industrial and heavy labor work, right? And then you got the AI systems that run those machines, you know. So that's assistance, you know. The need for money can be eradicated, you know what I mean? And people can learn what they want to learn and do what they want to do. And we can live in a world where everybody has like the luxuries of life. You can still have a nice, cool, modern house. You can have a really cool electric car, whatever you want, you know what I mean? And you can have really cool, fancy roads and stuff. But we don't have that system in place. We had, you know, the guy, Jacques Fresco, I think his name. He has the idea for something like this called the Venus Project. Mm-hmm. And he started a small fraction of it in Florida. I think it's called Venus, Florida, something like that, or Neptune, Florida, some part of Florida, I know. But the area is named after one of the planets. And he sees like human beings living side by side in a world with animals, you know what I mean? Like, because we need animals for the world. Animals, they spread seeds and pollen, and they provide natural fertilizers for the earth. You know, the predators will eat off the herbivores. The herbivores will continue to replenish what they need to replenish on the earth in terms of like their manure. And that's what it is, you know. The predators will put on this planet to control the herbivores, you know what I mean? The wider animal population. Yeah. But in us human beings, we totally came. Well, I don't know what the hell how we got to where we are right now, but we basically use slavery and enslave all animals and have them and exploit them for everything. You know what I mean? From right down to their skin to their meat to just everything. You know what I mean? Which is crazy. Yeah. We shouldn't be doing that. We're really messing with nature when we do this. You know? Like, I don't know.
Nature.
I can go on for this very well.
Well, no, the thing is, nature keeps on showing us that we're fucking up, right?
Oh yeah.
And the problem is the people in charge, whoever those people are. It's all about money, and it's all about profit, and it's all about globalization. Yeah. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and I said I think it was about apples. So, that's right. Last year in the lockdown, Hereford, where I'm from, we're big in apples, Bulmers, cider. So there's just apple orchards everywhere. And literally a mile from my mum's house, I'm walking all the time. And I'm like, why are they just digging up endless orchard after orchard? They had a digger in there. They're just digging up the trees. And I'm like, well, this is it. So my brain is going, is there something wrong with the trees? Are they diseased or something? And then as it turned out, it's because there is a massive stockpile of concentrated apple juice in Europe. And therefore, there is no market for these apples. So rather
just destroy the trees?
Absolutely. My brain was just sort of screaming, what the hell is going wrong? Because we could still keep those trees, we could pick those apples, we could put them out free for the local community, wherever. Come and get your apples, make fresh apple juice, make applesauce, make apple pies. Why just pull the trees up? It makes no sense, right? Makes no sense whatsoever. And it's because there's this mass stockpile. And then my brain starts thinking, well, we already know there is more than enough food in the world to feed everybody.
Yep.
Yet, because we have these stockpiles everywhere, yet we still have millions of people going hungry.
It's insane, man.
It's
like I said, like, because of money and profit and control, it's the reason why we're in the situation we are. Like, you know how much supermarkets throw away food every day. They throw away, oh my God, mountains of food every day. That's insane. How that is.
It's appalling, isn't it? I mean, I've been saying, one of the reasons that I ended up, so I wasn't eating very much meat anyway, and pretty much for the last 3-4 years, that's all gone out the window, fish. And then I went totally vegan. I followed your advice and I thought, right, I'll take everything out. I had a bit of a blip over Christmas, actually, and I put some fish back in.
Okay.
And then and that was my daughter, and that was because I bought something here, and she was like, so you bought something that is fake fish, Mum, and you could have just gone down to the fishery and bought some real fish. And actually, you're making it worse for the environment because you bought this fake fish that is like processed and packaged. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Kind of got a point. And it was just something that was going on at the time. Yeah. You know, the more that I think about what we're doing now and the way that we're just abusing our bodies, we're abusing animals, we're abusing the land, Mother Earth, on a continual basis. And all she's doing is saying, you can't keep doing this to me. So we have to literally wake up. Yeah, it's that problem that we've said. The people that are in control, it's all about monetizing. You've got someone interrupting you. It's all about
it's no problem.
It's all about profit, it's about monetizing, it's about control. You know, some of this COVID stuff, as far as I'm concerned, there's a COVID thing going on. There's a whole bunch of control in there as well, and how they can, you know, literally herding us. You know, forget herd immunity. It's more about herd stupidity, where they're just taking us where they want us to be, right? And it's kind of what can we do to change some of those things?
Have
you got a customer?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Tell them they're going to be on a podcast. They're going to be.
It's okay. They're not in the shot. You know.
That's cool.
Leave that part. But I agree with what you say. You know. And
each of us, I think, has our own moral dilemma where we have to work out what's right for us. And I think, you know, going back to the COVID thing, a lot of the thing that came about where people actually started to look after themselves better, definitely in the UK, was because they couldn't get to the supermarkets, they couldn't buy all their processed junk foods. So they actually went back to looking at what food can I make for myself, and actually realizing that they can make tastier food, healthier food.
Exactly.
And maybe not all vegan to start with, or even vegetarian, yet actually getting people back to the basics of learning to cook, how to nurture themselves and their families. Do you need to speak to that person? You can speak to them. It would be kind of...
I'm good. But keep going. I'm listening.
So basically, it's kind of, you know, again, the whole COVID situation, we've had an opportunity to learn stuff about ourselves, and it's what we then put into the future to make life good and to make...
you make it about an hour. Okay. No worries. Thanks. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay. This is living your passion and purpose, right? It means somebody's come in. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of things there. I remember having a conversation with you a long time ago where when you decided you were going to be plant-based, so you didn't do it all at once, did you? You kind of worked your way through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way for lots of people to start, because I think
oh yeah, definitely.
It's too much, right?
Like I would say like not to go cold turkey, because if you try to go cold turkey based off your passion, you're gonna go right back into, you know, consuming. Because I've had friends who've done it through passion because they saw like a documentary and they're really like dramatic at first, and then they started doing it and oh yeah, boy, I feel so good, blah blah blah, and then they were just tempted by something, and then I see them maybe like months after. I'm like, hey, what's up? How's it going? Like, oh yeah, I don't do that no more, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I think the best way to do it is do it in stages, you know? You get rid of the heavier meats first, you know, and just like break it down to birds and fish. And then from birds and fish, you take out the birds, and then after you take out the birds, you take out the fish, and then after you take out the fish, it's just up to, you know, to get rid of the dairy, which is like the eggs and the milk and whatever products made from cows. And you should be good after that, you know, because once your body like takes away these types of food that you used to consume that are animal based, they carry certain nutrients, but they don't give you as much nutrients as you get from plants, you know, in my opinion, or if any smart vegan opinion.
Yeah.
That so your body now, right? Once you take these things out of your body, you're gonna find you lose a lot of weight in the first few stages, or that's the first year of you like weaning yourself out of the different meats and such. And you might get a little scared, get like, oh my God, I'm losing muscle mass and I'm looking skinnier than usual, blah, blah, blah. But that's expected. Once you like all the meat and stuff has gone from your body, like the flesh and everything, your body's gonna start to like build up its own weight now, and muscles are gonna start to grow, you know, because you know you're building muscle based off of plants, you know, which I think is the best way to get muscles. And then
there's plenty of research out there now to say that actually, you know, that's any stories that says that you need to be eating dead cow is nonsense.
It's nonsense. I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, right? And he was like saying, bring up the same argument, saying the reason, because we had an argument about something totally different. But then he brought up the argument or an example with vegan versus meat eaters to try and prove a point. And he was saying, and he said to me, he's like, well, if it's my decision, if I choose to believe in this, it's my decision, blah, blah. And if I choose to eat meat because based on facts that, you know, you get more protein from meat than you get from plants, then that's just my decision. So I'm like, fine.
Okay.
I just leave it after that. When he said that, I'm like, you can get more protein from meat than you can get from plant. I'm like, wow. So these motherfuckers never seen a goddamn like, well, a fully grown bull that's just graze on grass. They never seen a gorilla. They never seen a rhinoceros. They never seen a bloody elephant. They never seen that guy from what country is he from? He's from Ireland. He's from Ireland, right?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that guy.
Absolutely.
That guy looks like he can run through a wall, and he's all muscle, all plant-based. So you know, when people talk to me, and they base everything on their quote unquote commercial facts, you know, I mean, they get from, you know, the communities or which one I want to say oh gosh, I'm struggling right now, but
you know, well,
from the main, that's okay. I'll leave that mainstream. From the mainstream fact bank or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Where people get the information from. You know, based on the people who get scholarships and their doctorates and stuff, and then because of that, they're able to like say, this is my research. I'm putting it in a dictionary or whatever, and my name is on it, and that's the facts. That's stupid because things change. Things change, especially with science, where you discover new breakthroughs every single day. So people can't leave that as solid facts. That same fact can be broken down and been proven to be negative for your consumption or whatever, you know.
I mean, it's a lot to do with, you know, a lot of the health authorities and the people that are in charge of sharing the communication.
There you go.
Because if you go to the US, then half of the senators and people are taking money off different people for their parties to say, oh yeah, you should eat this because it's really good for you. You should eat this, and they actually know it's really bad for them,
and they still consume it.
Yeah, and you have a mass population who not necessarily are ignorant, yet not necessarily smart enough to do their own research across a different bunch of mediums.
Lazy is the word I would like to use.
Yeah,
it's laziness. It's laziness. Like, for instance, I'll use my mom as an example, right? I try to persuade my mom to eat more healthy, especially the age she is right now. And I tell her, like, you know, you're probably having all these problems because if you put yourself on a plant-based diet, you will be better off, right? And then she said, oh, what am I supposed to eat? You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And she's going into all this, like, excuses. I'm like, and then when she buys the things, I'll go into the cupboard sometimes and I'll read the labels of these things and the ingredients that are in them. And I'm like, it has this, this, and this. I'm reading it loud for her to hear, right? And she, oh, you have that in it? Well, I mean, no. You know, I'm read something, you know what I mean? The fact that they don't want to take up the thing and read it and know, okay, this is in it? Okay, I'm not eating it. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, I'm a vegan, right? So if, for instance, I see something that's a fruit paste or something and has some red color in it, right? Okay, it's red. I'm gonna read it. So I read the back of it, right? And it's yet still, even though it doesn't have any animal products in it, right? It has red number 40. Red number 40, when I research it, that stuff is made from bugs. You know what I mean? Some kind of like bug, they get the redness from they crush the bugs and they add that as a dye. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I can't eat that stuff. Yeah, you know?
It is bizarre how limited we can become. I grabbed this. Have you read this book?
No, it looks interesting.
Okay, How Not to Die. So Michael Greger has this amazing free website that's all about nutrition. And basically in this book, he doesn't tell you to be vegan, yet everything tells you to be vegan, if that makes sense. Because he goes through I've got it as a PDF. I'll send it to you. And it's a really weighty book. And I thought, you know what? I really need to get it because I just need to remind myself, why am I doing this? And then most importantly, the thing that we haven't touched on is how much better your body just feels when you're not putting all this other stuff in.
Exactly.
You know,
and then the good. Exactly. And then the other thing to add to it is exercise. You know, you have to exercise. Because what we as adults forget as we get older is that we forget to exercise. You know, when you're a kid, all you do is run around and jump and do all sorts of madness, right? When you're in elementary school, the same thing. When you're in high school, you do a lot of it, but some of it, you know, you don't do because you think you're too cool for it. And as you get into your 20s, you know, you don't want to exercise because you don't want to sweat, you know, and you tend to realize like all that is slowing down your body and setting it up for early destruction, you know? So I'm not saying you got to go to the gym and go pump iron hard, but just try and do something physical every day. Make sure all the joints in your body is moving, you know what I mean? Make sure you do a little squat, a little sit up. Just make sure all that stuff is moving and, you know, try and decompress your spine. And if you do this, blood will flow properly, nutrients will flow properly. You know, you won't find yourself in such a painstaking, aching way. And especially if you're being a vegan and, you know, you're losing weight faster than you should, exercising will build up those muscles. And then it's a win-win for you because all that fat burns off and then that muscle builds up is a plus. So exercise is very, very key, you know. Sure. I forget that. And I was exercising for, let's say, a good like few months probably. And I started to like get a lot of pain in my shoulders, you know. So I'm like, why am I having so much shoulder pain? I'm not heavy and blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm trying to figure it out. And I realized I don't really use my shoulders as much the way I used to. I don't do none of this stuff. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So, and I think it's a really key thing. I mean, I'm older than you. I'm 54, so I mix. I do my yoga, I walk, I hike, I swim, I cycle, I get on my little trampoline here when I don't want to go out. And all I keep doing is moving. Don't get me wrong. I walked up Boggy Peak last week, the roadway, and the roadway's a killer, right? And some of those hills that are like that, I'm like, why am I doing this? And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, because it feels really good. And actually, when I get to the top, it feels amazing.
Yes.
And it's just reminding ourselves to move, isn't it? So
it is. You have to keep moving. Our bodies are designed to keep moving, you know? So laziness in terms of like non-physicality with your body is detrimental to your life, in my opinion. You know?
Moving our minds and our bodies physically, mentally, emotionally is exactly what we need to do so we don't stagnate.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people should read more too. You know, a lot of people don't read so much. We just watch. We don't even read so much. I just have something for people who don't like to read. What they should do is they set the TV for captions so that they can read the captions. That way it'll help them to read, you know, without them even knowing they're reading.
Oh, my daughter's going to love you just said that, because she has this obsession about putting the captions on for things. And we're like, why does she do that? Maybe that's her way of reading. Who knows as well.
It probably is, because you know it is, man. Millennials are the new generations coming forth. They're way more impatient than us, you know, way more. Like, thing has to happen now. They're watching something, the extension span has to catch them between like 1 second of one eighth of a second, if you want to say that. You know what I mean? Like, it has to like catch them, and then they'll be hooked and they'll stay in to watch it. But if that 1 second or 1/4 of a second, 1/8 of a second doesn't get hit, it just passes by them, you know?
Yeah, it disappears.
Yeah.
So we've had an amazing conversation, and I know that we've been going for over an hour, which is awesome. We've covered all sorts of things. Tell me a little bit about the art that's behind you.
This one I'm working on is a part of a series called The New Human. What I plan to do with this, I'm turn the camera around, that way you can see it better.
Okay.
Yeah. So this piece is called, it's part of this series called The New Human that I'm working on, where, you know, human beings are going to the point where it's becoming more AI, and we're becoming more distance from reality.
Yeah.
So because of that, I decided to like do this series with these human beings with these, I would like to say cyborg type of bodies, but instead of like being heavily mechanical, they're more electronic and but a bit of organism based. So
I want to say that it's a she, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, that one's a she.
Beautiful.
The next one I'm gonna like give people a sneak peek later on my Instagram. Is a bunch of them, like, but they're men this time. This one's a female, but the one I'm gonna upload is digital, because I'll explain to you what's going on here. So this head area, which I'm gonna add more colors and more detail to. I'm gonna put a brain in here so you can see transparent. But then this right here is gonna be like glass. Even though it has the shape of a human's face, it's gonna be glass.
Okay.
So it represents like the shape of a human face, but at the same time, it's our artificial body. And then inside we'll have the floating brain, and then the liquid is gonna be inside. And I'm gonna have some like red and green tubes running down from the brain through the body, where it's gonna represent like veins and veins and arteries. So because I want to like get people to understand, like, you know, we really are getting like distance from being natural and anything natural or organic based. You know, everything is just becoming artificial and AI and, you know, remote. Like right now with this whole lockdown, for instance, with us being locked down and becoming more remote, you know.
The way that we're living, I guess.
Yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of the new world, I guess. The powers that be want for us, you know, they want for us to just be in our homes and sorry, go ahead.
As we step bravely into this new world, right? Or maybe we
Man.
just have to run into it with our arms open and saying, do you know what? I'm going to kick the doors down no matter what.
Yeah.
Because we have to just embrace our life and do the best that we can in the best ways possible.
That's what it is.
Regardless. It's been fantastic catching up with you.
Likewise.
Maybe I'm actually leaving on, I don't know when this is going to go out yet, but I'm leaving on the 22nd of April. So this will go out after that for sure.
Okay.
Maybe I'll try and catch you in person before I leave the island. I will make sure that all your links are here with the podcast after, so people can check out all your art.
And my website too. I don't know if I ever gave you the website address, but you can add that as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put it all on there. Thank you so much for spending some time.
No worries, Janice. Thank you also for having me.
Okay, it's been awesome. Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
Okay, take care. Bye. Bye-bye.